In this video, I'll be assembling my table saw from the plans that are available on my website. If you're interested in building this yourself, there's a link in the description that'll take you directly to the plan sales page where you can get a copy. And the cost of those plans also help to support the work I'm doing to make these free do-it-yourself videos. The first step in the build process is to cut out all of the parts, and I've already done that here, so I can get started with assembly by putting together the base of the saw. In the plans, I recommend using screws to assemble these parts, but here I'm using glue and brad nails, which are strong enough and are better suited to a more permanent type assembly. And what I'm doing is I'm fastening the side panels to the corner cleats and making sure that they're flush on the front and the back. Next up, I can attach the front panel to the side panels. And once again, I'm using glue and brad nails to fasten that part. And the back panel, which is shorter, will get fastened next in exactly the same way. The base cabinet can be left as it is, but to make it more durable and stable, I'm going to add boards around the base at the bottom. And to fasten these, I'm just going to use 1-inch screws from the inside. And take note that these boards stick down 1/4 inch below the panels of the base cabinet. This next step is not strictly necessary, but it does help to improve the way the cabinet looks. I'm going to slightly round over all the corners and sand everything nice and smooth. And then I'm going to paint the base a solid color on the outside and clear finish it on the inside. And like I said before, this will make it look better and also add protection against moisture and dirt. I gave the paint and the clear polyurethane overnight to dry on the base. And now I can get started on the frame that supports the top. And the first step is to add the supports on each side of the cabinet. And since I rounded the corners over, I've added a temporary strip to line up the pieces precisely before screwing them on. I'm not using any glue here, the screws will be strong enough. With that done, I can get the table support put in. And this needs to be spaced down by whatever thickness of the material is that's used for the miter slot backer, so it makes sense to actually use that to space the part down. And to fasten this, I'm driving 1.5-inch screws in from the end. I am going to use some glue with the miter slot backer, and you can use screws here, but I'm going to drive in a few 1.25-inch brads. Next, I can add the front and back rail. Again, I'm not going to use any glue for these either. I'm just going to drive 1.25-inch screws from the inside and then use longer screws into the side supports. I will use glue for these end caps though, because I see this frame as a complete unit. With the frame for the top finish, I once again stopped and gave those parts 2 coats of water-based polyurethane. I think it makes more sense to finish the parts as you go along rather than having to take it all apart again after it's finished to do that. The next step is to install the 3 top sections plus the miter slot on the frame. And to start, I'm going to fasten the hinges to the part that swings up where the saw goes. And to do that, I'm going to locate the hinge on the underside, flush with the side and in line with the back, and carefully mark those holes so that I can drill them out. Now there is a special self-centering drill bit that you can use for this, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to do it old school here by eye, and I'm actually drilling right through the top, but I've got a backer on the other side to minimize chip out. And then with the holes drilled, I can drive the screws in. Now these screws are actually 3/4 inch, but I cut the tip off so that they won't be sticking through the other side. There are a couple of different ways to fasten the top. One way is to solidly glue them down to the frame, but I'm going to be using screws that go straight through the top. I'm starting on the left-hand side with the smallest section, and the alignment of this one is fairly critical because it determines all the rest to come after. And then because my top is already finished, I have to be careful not to damage it. And if I had my time back, I would have drilled these holes and countersinks before I finished the top. And that way I wouldn't have to mess around trying to be careful here. And then I can move on to the swing up section that I already installed the hinges on. And this is a little bit trickier because I need to fasten the hinges to the frame, and it can be a little bit difficult to get them lined up exactly. So what I've done is I've marked out and drilled one hole for each hinge, and then I'm going to drive in 3/4 inch screws just to test the fit. This section needs to swing down in place without binding, and also it can't have any play. And here I can see that it's a little bit open on the front, but otherwise it looks pretty good. And I can adjust for that when I drive in the rest of the screws. And after I have the top positioned properly, I'll change out these screws for longer ones. Next up, I can install the miter slot. And once again, I'm just going to screw this down through the top. And I've drilled pilot holes and countersinks for the screws to sit flush. With the miter slot in place, I can take the right section of the top and push it up tight to that and screw that down as well. Off camera, I put the power switch in, and I also took the center section out again so that I can position the saw correctly and get that fastened in place. And to line it up so that it's very close so I can try it, I've got a block of plywood here with a mark on it that lines up with the edge when it's pressed up against the tooth on the saw itself. And now that I've got it set in place so that it's very close to where it's supposed to be, I can drive in a couple of screws only and then flip it over and put it back in the saw and check to see how well the blade lines up with the miter slot. And if it needs to be adjusted, I'll do that before I put in the other screws. Again, off camera, I wired the saw up. I didn't want to get into that type of thing in this video because it differs from region to region. I cut out one of the inserts that I drew out earlier, and I need to add some way of keeping this from popping up at the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a 3/16 inch hole at the back of the opening. Then I'm going to drill a smaller hole in the end of the insert and drive in a number 6 screw. I'm going to leave that screw sticking out about 1/4 inch and cut the head off with the grinder. In this next part, I have to cut the hole through the insert, and I've already done part of that because the blade I have on this saw is 8 1/4. So that's actually bigger than the typical size that goes on this saw. But to finish the cut in the insert, I'm going to clamp a board on top, and the board will hold the insert down while I turn on the saw and carefully plunge the blade through it. With the saw put in and the slot cut in the insert, I can move on to the finishing touches. And the first is to come up with a simple way to hold the swing up section open so that it doesn't completely fall over backwards. Next, I need to add some support on the left side. And this is just a block of softwood that I'm going to fasten with 2-inch screws. Another thing that I need is a way to grip this swing up section so I can lift it up. And once again, I really should have done this before I painted the top, but it's not a big deal. I'm just going to use the router to cut a finger groove in the underside of the swing up section, and that should work just fine. And with that done, the last thing that I need to do to make this saw operational is to add the fence system. And this is my homemade one that I had on the saw I had before this. I'm not going to go into detail on installing this fence here because I have another video covering that as well. And the link to that is also in the description. Anyway, there it is, ready to be used to build whatever I need to build from now on. It's worth pointing out that I didn't have a real table saw to build this saw in the beginning. All of the cuts that I made were done with a circular saw, very much like the one that's in this saw right now. And as for the quality of the work that this can produce, there's a link in the description to a video where I show making kitchen cabinet doors using that temporary table saw that I used to cut out the parts for this one. And once again, I'll remind you that plans are available for this project on my website. The link is in the description. And by buying the plans, you help to support the work I do to create more of these projects in the future.